Welcome back to the Pain Exam podcast, webcast. And today we're very lucky to have Myrdalis Diaz, who is a pain management physician as well as a coach. And speaking of coaching, a lot of you know I do board review as well as ultrasound training. We are also offering private ultrasound training as well as an ultrasound course almost every month in New York or in other locations such as Puerto Rico, where Myrdalis is from. And Myrdalis and I met each other in Aspen through a couple of common connections. We have more than one connection between us. One of them is Donna Coriel, who is from SomiDocs, who's been on my podcast as well as Myrdalis' platform. And Myrdalis also does have a podcast. And first of all, Myrdalis, good morning and welcome to the podcast. In this, she's in a hurricane right now in Miami, so I'm happy you still have power.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here. Luckily, we're away from the hurricane. That's why we came to Miami, and we hope that everybody's safe at home.
So Myrdalis is very unique. She, like a lot of physicians, I guess, we all have some sort of side business or side hustle. Some of us do real estate. Some of us do educational CMEs like I do. Myrdalis is really interested in coaching and helping physicians, I guess, be their best version of themselves financially, as well as on social aspects, et cetera. And I guess the first thing I want to know is, Myrdalis, how did you get into all this? What started you down this path?
I think around COVID, we all had an awakening in many different ways. One of the things is that I discovered the Leverage and Growth Summit. And this is by another anesthesiologist, Dr. Peter Kim from California. And there I discovered the power of a mastermind. And we had a lot of educational, financial education and everything that happened during that period of time. And we discovered what a mastermind can do. Basically, a mastermind is like a group of physicians that come together, in this case, with the purpose of advancing entrepreneurship amongst us. And I wanted to be part of one of such groups. I received coaching myself for a long time. And nowadays we're involved in other masterminds. We're involved in an artificial intelligence mastermind, on a business mastermind. So I wanted to have at the time one where my husband could come too, but for physicians. And I didn't see one of those. And then I made it myself, but it was out of the passion, I'm concerned with physicians. I've been burnout, and this was a tool to help me recover from that, and it did. And I'm concerned with physicians because of so much lack of satisfaction in medicine. How are we going to survive? Who's going to take care of us? And these are our bodies. We see them suffering, and these can be a great solution for that. So, mixing what I wanted to myself, what helped me, and my passion to help other physicians stay practicing for the most part led me to have this type of service.
Do you have, because you're a physician, do you find that you have a different approach to coaching than other types of coaches? For instance, is your coach a physician or is your coach a business coach?
Oh, my coach is not a physician. My main coach is not a physician. And in my approach to our coaching, the way that we do it is a little bit different. I still find it like a little bit of diagnosing, right? I see where they have the problem in their business or their career, the thing that they're not thinking, and then I diagnose, okay, in this area you will need that, and then I help them connect. So compared to my coaching physician, it just the way that we ask the questions, because that's what we do all day long. We're interviewing, we're trying to see where the problem is and then give you a solution. So in that way, I think that I'm different from my business coach. We don't have that set of interview questions that we normally have. So I'm being able to implement the business part and then do it in a way that our members feel more familiar with the situation, because we're all used to talk this way all day long, but bringing those concepts that we're not familiar with.
Sure. I had an interesting path through my pain exam career in terms of self I don't know if you could self-coach, but more or less finding a lot of things on my own and working alone for many years. And I started podcasting after I started listening to podcasts, especially one of them was Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income, which is now pretty well known. Most of you probably heard of it. And that was probably 10 years ago almost. And that led me down this path, but it wasn't until recently that I actually hired a coach. And I'm still in the process. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of value to this. I mean, it's expensive, but I find that the more I pay, the more I hold myself accountable for all the stuff that I'm supposed to do. I'm using the coaching for just not only the pain exam business, the personal physician business, as well as self-growth and self-organization and fomenting a better vision of my future. But Mastermind is something I've yet to do, and Mastermind is something that I've heard the term used for probably 7-8 years now. And I always tell myself, I'm going to be part of a mastermind. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But this is what you do. And I know you're successful at it because I've talked to some of your students, and I'd like to hear from you. First of all, explain what a mastermind is, how it works, and how it can help people, if you don't mind.
So the power of the mastermind started many years ago in the 30s. I don't know if you remember, guys like Goodyear and all the people from that era. They were big tycoons, and they would meet in this island called Jekyll Island here of Georgia, and they would come together and they would talk about their businesses, and they would help each other in growing their businesses because not everybody knew everything. They had different experiences, and then they could also research whatever they had problems with. So that's what it is. You have a group of people who are interested in achieving some goal, and you can do a mastermind of, as I always say, you can do a mastermind of like baking the best cake in the world, right? In our case, we have a group of physicians who want to achieve regaining their passion in life, finding that they're going to be working for joy and not for need. And we get together. We do have a curriculum because we've noticed that through our masterminds, we found that there are some questions that are basic that physicians have because we haven't been trained in these business areas. So we do have a curriculum, and then we help each other. So if you, David, come to my mastermind, and then we see that somebody wants to do a podcast, for example, and that's the way that they want to express their entrepreneurship, then we might say, okay, David, can you help us coach this person? But suppose that there's not that knowledge within the team, within our group, then we get that knowledge from somewhere else, and we bring a coach from outside. So in our mastermind, what we do is that we're trying to create businesses, not just like hobbies. So if you bring an idea, we'll make sure that that idea happens. And in the mastermind, it's not only the part of the coaching, we also have the support and the accountability. So the accountability means that every week in our group, you will have to say what you did for your business last week and what you will do for next week. And we hold you accountable for that. So every week we ask around the table. That's why we keep them small groups, because that way everybody can advance and everybody has the opportunity to talk. When you come here, that's the power of the mastermind. We give you the support, we give you some training, we give you some things that will clear those blind spots that you might have.
When you come here, is it in person or is it via Zoom or both? Or?
Virtual, all via Zoom. We have people in our last cohort, we have people from Puerto Rico all the way to Hawaii.
Wow, nice. That's amazing. So,
yeah, and then we have accountability where you come, and then you can come with an idea. And then that idea we are here meeting for 6 months. Some people, like within 2 months, they already have a business and they started and it's growing. And some people like more complicated things. Like we had this doctor she had 3 ideas when she came to us. First, we had to like design the vision and then finally get from 3 to 1 idea. So it took us a little process for that, and then training on that idea. And now this in September, she's going to be launching her prototype for her fashion line. And then in November, she's going to launch her actual business selling for her fashion line.
So she's a physician with a fashion line and she's selling.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's what she wanted. And that's what we help.
Look, there's something about business that's more than money. Of course, you want your business to make money. However, there's, I think, an emotional attachment to it, and there's pride and satisfaction. And I think I heard that people who sell their businesses, some of them, they go into depression after they say they could have sold it for a few $1,000,000, but hard to imagine someone is depressed when they receive a few $1,000,000 for their hard work. However, just not having it anymore. I mean, like, I get a lot of joy out of the podcast. I'm sure you do as well for your podcast and your business. There's some emotional aspects to it. It's not all finances. And I think yes, I kind of understand that. But you mentioned executive coaching and steps with the executive coaching that people go through. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So for physicians in particular, we are not necessarily, that's not part of our culture. One of the things that physicians need to understand is that these were not taught, but if you want to sit at a table with executives in our hospitals, with talking to people all over, insurance and all these things, these skills will help us have better communication, have a better one-to-one conversation at the table. And that's what they do. They get executive coaching. It's part for them to survive. Executives in pharma, executives in the insurance companies, in the hospitals, in what they do coaching. They belong to masterminds so that they can survive and they can speak the same language. So culturally, as physicians, we have never been taught this. We have given all these business skills away because we wanted, obviously, to focus on medicine. So the first thing that we have to understand is that this is a mechanism that exists for us to help, in the same way, to level the plane with those that we communicate every day. And not only that, like at the time, we're going to have not only that knowledge of the business knowledge, we're also going to have our medical knowledge and our way of thinking that can complement that. But just having the medical thinking, that's great. It helps us communicate amongst ourselves, helps us take care of our patients, but really doesn't take care of that conversation where we can get those win-wins with administration, or where we can really get some other entrepreneurial endeavors advanced for our own good in our lives.
Are most physicians coming to you with the goal of coaching to improve their medical practice, or for some sort of side business?
So it would be a different type of business for most of them, but we do have a lot, for example, who want to become coaches themselves. We had this physician, she wanted to be a coach for ADHD, and now she's a coach for physicians who have ADHD, which actually is a lot of us, right? Who have ADHD, and she came with the idea, and then she became coach. For a clinic, I'm going to give you the example of this particular doctor because she's been one of the most successful stories we're going to have in the history so far of our mastermind. And she just finished this last month. So this is an OBGYN doctor. She has her OBGYN office. She has a medical spa. I met her midway through her fellowship. She left all those things and her family. She has twins who are in elementary school to do a fellowship in cosmetic surgery with no income. So she had all the pressures of a business back home, doing a fellowship. Imagine you doing that right now these days, just for $20,000 a year, right? Leaving your family, studying for the boards, in writing and oral boards for this time, and then participating in the mastermind. So it's somebody who already had medical clinics, who had experience of over 10 years in a clinic, and she came to the mastermind and she found ways of making this all work to the point that now she just finished her fellowship, her cosmetic surgery fellowship. She went back home, she purchased a plastic surgeon's office where she's going to have her cosmetic surgery office. She's remodeling that. She has already found people who are going to be using that office during the time that she's not there. She's found ways of doing what she I cannot say what she's going to do for some type of medical centers throughout the whole United States, but she has already all these things that she would not have had in terms of organizing for her clinical practice without the mastermind that she recognizes. She has told us. So the mastermind, she was able to do with all the pressures. People say, oh, I don't have the bandwidth to do this. But somebody who was in the situation clearly found the time. She was exhausted. But now, in the next 6 months, she's expecting to do more in terms of a financial gain that any year that she has had in the last 10 years.
Amazing.
And that was a clinical practice.
Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, I think, look, I mean, a big part of this is, I guess, time management skills, right? And also it's with her, I'm hoping she had some, I guess, financial backing, because to do something like that temporarily is must be financially stressful. But I guess yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing. I do teach at courses where a lot of people come in, and you know, every doctor these days, or a lot of doctors these days, is getting into the aesthetics and having their own medical spa. It's not so uncommon to see people doing that. But I guess, how many medical spas can we have? I mean, you know, so I'm sure it's becoming more and more competitive. So it's not like a walk in the park like it may have been 10, 20 years ago. But
we have a medical spa, and you know, in terms of the way that we purchase machines in the medical spa, as physicians, we go and we learn something, right? Oh my goodness, I want to learn this new machine, and this is going to be wonderful. And then we go ahead, we take the course, we buy the machine, we bring it to the clinic, and we have no idea of what to do with it, right? So we actually have learned a different way of dealing with that. Like, yes, you'll go and learn your medicine, and then you get your patients first before purchasing any machine. And sometimes some people even do, this is not what I promote, but even before learning the science, they will be selling the services. But the point is that in this type, if you're your clinic, you should have the patients first before engaging in that investment, which is not something that we tend to do. We tend to learn the medicine, get the machine, come back and have it there with dust in a corner.
machines,
without really
100, 200 grand. They're not cheap machines also. So
no.
yeah, I know one aesthetic doctor in New York who had 5 of these big machines. I don't even know what they do. They look like little robots. I mean, God knows what they
can
do.
be. They can be.
So anyway, I believe you have a book you mentioned that you have.
So we just launched a book that's available for free for physicians who have medical clinics. If you go to maxallure.com, maxallure, that's our website, maxallure.com. There's a little tab that says book. Just press there and you can get your free copy. And if you have a medical clinic, it's going to tell you about different areas that you can, it's called 45 questions to inspire growth in the medical clinic. And I'm hoping that at least from the 45s, you can find one of these questions to be helpful to you and to inspire, you know, what I do this thing, or I do that other thing. And it covers different things in terms of like creating teams, doing marketing, how you relate with others, even all the way to how do you give back to our communities. So that book is available for free. You can just go ahead to the website and get it. If you're an employee, and you read the book, it can also give you different perspective for when you're communicating with your boss, you know, just trying to help the whole enterprise to advance and be in a point that they're solid. And anything that we're doing is to trying to future-proof the careers of physicians. So either if it's in the medical clinic or outside through some other business they want to do, in whatever that is, that's what we want to do, help them. And the book, I'm hoping that does that for the medical clinics.
I think that sounds great. So your website, once again, so that everybody has it.
maxallure.com, maxallure.com.
And there's also going to be a link on my website, the show notes. It's going to be, I guess, a sort of link to her platform to opt in maybe for Mastermind or coaching. I am an affiliate, so I will get a small percentage if you go that route. And the link will be on the show notes, as well as the e-blast and the website page. Myrdalis, so I have to wrap it up. I have patients coming into the office, but is there anything else that you want to remind everybody of or tell them before I wrap it up?
Well, we still have a few spots if somebody's available and they can find me through the website. Just go through there and sign up and we'll reach out. We do have a few spots, and it's right now, before the end of September that we have our next group. Our next group is you gain CMEs. So you get a minimum of 40 CMEs. It can be discounted as your CME allowance or as a business expense. And we don't call these expenses, we call them investments in your, in yourself. And when you were saying at the beginning that this is expensive, it's really not expensive. Every time you do this, it's really advancing you. And what we're hoping is that you have a greater return on investment than anything else, which our members are having. And you can also bring your spouse or girlfriend or whoever is in your life, boyfriend, whoever's in your life who's attached to you in a way that you guys can advance together. They can also come to our mastermind and have a voice there as well. And at the end, the people leave with a 90-day blueprint of what they're going to be doing. So it's not only about those 6 months that were there with us, it's also about making it last, making be meaningful for them.
That's great. Yeah, I've like I said, I've talked to some of Myrdalis' students, and she's very dedicated to this, and she's really, I guess, all in, and she's also a really nice person. And I want to thank you for coming on to the show. It's really been, I think I've known you only a year, but it feels like a much longer than that. But welcome, and thanks for your time and what you do and helping the medical community in the way you do. And be sure to check her out on her podcast, and hopefully soon I'll be on her podcast as well. And what's the name of your podcast?
The podcast is called Design Your Physician Life. It can be found in all the platforms. And we also have it on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is called maxAllure Mastermind. We just published that last month. And there we host all our podcasts, as well as some sessions that we have on Fridays, which are some Friday Lives. You have your video there, David, in our YouTube channel as well. So you guys can connect through those as well.
Great. Thanks, Myrdalis, and stay safe during the hurricane.
Thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy your patients.
Thank you. Will do. Bye.
Bye.